Okay, good morning everyone. We are the group 3. So our topic is about political legal perspective in gender and sexuality. Next slide. So the lesson 15 is about the gender-based violence, the survivor, victims, and human rights. So what is gender-based violence? Gender-based violence is one of the most widespread and human rights abuses but least recognized in the world. It refers to any harm perpetrated against a person's will on the basis of gender, the socially ascribed differences between males and females. So, when we say gender-based violence, no, it is a serious human rights issues that affects individuals of all ages and backgrounds, but it is disproportionately impacts women and girls worldwide. So, what are the example of gender-based violence? The example of gender-based violence include domestic violence, sexual assault, rape, female genital mutilation, forced marriage, honor killings, human trafficking, and among others. So, when we say gender-based violence, it is not only causes immediate physical and emotional harm to survivors, but also has long-lasting effects such as trauma, stigma, discrimination, and social exclusion. So, how to combat gender based violence? Efforts to combat gender based violence no, include the raising awareness is one of the um, um, prevention para makombat yung gender-based violence. Next, the providing support services for survivors. Kailangan mag-provide tayo ng mga support sa mga survivors para mag-less yung mga what do we call this? Para mag-less yung kanilang mga traumas when it comes sa mga violences. Then, promoting gender equality and empowerment. Mag-promote tayo ng equality when it comes to gender and empower individuals kung ano man yung gender nila. Enacting and enforcing laws to protect victims and addressing harmful social norms and attitudes that perpetuate violence. I believe that everyone has a role to play in preventing and responding to gender based violence to create a safer and more equitable society for all. Thus, victims of manipulation may feel trapped, confused, and powerless in such situations. It is essential to recognize manipulation for what it takes and take steps to protect oneself from its negative impact. So, for more information, may I call Ate Trixie Briones to explain further what is gender-based violence. Thank you.
So, good afternoon to each everyone. So, here are some of example of gender-based violence. So, it's a term that refers to harmful acts directed at an individual or group of individuals based on their gender. Is rooted in gender inequality, abuse of power, and harmful norms. It can be physical, sexual, or psychological harm and can manifest in various ways. So here's some example. First is physical violence. So physical violence, this includes acts of physical harm such as hitting, slapping, beating, or other forms of physical abuse. So next is sexual violence. So sexual violence, this includes rape, sexual assault, forced prostitution, and other forms of sexual exploitations. So next is psychological violence. So this includes emotional abuse, harassment, stalking, verbal abuse, and manipulations. So next is economic violence. So economic violence, this includes acts like denying access to financial resources, education, or health care. which are crucial for personal development and economic security. Next is cyber violence. So, cyber violence, this form of violence is becoming increasingly common and includes online harassment, stalking, or bullying based on gender. So, ito yung example ng mga like sa Facebook, pinopost niyo yung mga binubully niyo. So, that's a cyber violence. So, next is forced marriage. So, ang forced marriage, this is a form of GPV, and where individuals, often young girls, are forced into marriage without their consent. Like yung forced marriage, like yung may mga traditional talaga na pinakita. So, that's the forced marriage. So, sa female genital mutilation, so this is a harmful traditional practice that involves the partial or total removal of the external female's genital for non-medical reason. So, next is, wala man. So, meron pa is killings. So, yung honor killings, these are murders, often of human, justified by the perpetrators on the grounds of defending their family honor, usually related to perceived breaches of conservative norms of love and marriage. So, gender-based violence is a violation of human rights, and it's illegal in many jurisdictions. If you are someone you know na may experience ng um, wait lang, may experience sa uh, gender-based violence, you can seek help from other local authorities or organizations that provide support to victims of gender-based violence. So, next reporter, please.
Okay, so good morning again, everyone. The next topic is about the consequences of gender based violence. So, these consequences include serious, immediate, and long term impact in the sexual, physical, and psychological health of survivor. Health consequences including unwanted pregnancies, complication from unsafe abortion, sexually transmitted infection including HIV, AIDS or STDs, injuries, mental health, and psychological effect. So these consequences no is very widespread or broad na talaga dito sa Pilipinas. Like yung HIV, masyado na siyang maraming cases dito sa Pilipinas kung bakit nagkakaroon ng mga HIV or yung mga human inefficiency virus like that. So, kailangan if meron tayong mga ganitong cases, no, it should be kasi once na meron tayong mga ganito like mga HIV, it should be ano dapat ano ba yan, what do we call this, kailangan hindi alam ng ibang tao kasi pag malaman ng ibang tao na meron tayong ganito, of course magkakaroon tayo or madi-discriminate tayo ng ibang tao kung meron tayong ganitong klaseng mga sakit. So I think here sa Pilipinas is abortion is not legal ba or illegal siya. Basta yon, magkaroon lang tayo ng safe and protected for our health. Thank you.
So, good morning, everyone. So, our discussion right now is all about survivor, victim, and perpetrator. So, from the word survivor, no, um, we all have an ideas na, no. Pero I will still explain it to you about this. So, when we say survivors, no, um, of gender based violence often face complex emotional, physical, and psychological impact that can have long lasting effects on their well being. So, despite these challenges, survivors demonstrate incredible strength and courage as they navigate their healing journey. They may seek support from various sources, including friends, sa family, support groups, counselors, and advocacy organizations. So from the word survivor, no, which is someone na nakasurvive dun sa traumatic experiences na napagdaanan niya sa buhay niya. Ito yung mga nakaranas ng abuses, violence, rape, and more. So that's why, no, it is important to recognize that being a survivor of gender-based violence is not a static identity. It is a journey of healing and empowerment. So survivors reclaim their agency, revealed their sense of self-worth, and advocate for change to prevent future violence. So their experiences highlight the urgent need for societal awareness, support systems, and resources to address gender-based violence and support survivors in their recovery process. So next, Shaina will going to explain about the victim and perpetrator.
So good morning. No, next is victim. A victim is someone who has been harmed, injured, or subjected to mistreatment by other individuals. So sa victim, kahit masasabi natin na survivor na siya, pero mananatili pa rin siyang victim because of the trauma, the depression, and the scars na naiwan sa kanila ng mga taong gumawa sa kanila ng krimen or harm. So victim is also victims are individuals who harm suffered either physical, emotional, or mentally as a result of an event or action. They are often in a need of support, empathy, and justice to help them recover and heal from their experience. So next one is perpetrators. Perpetrators are individuals who committed harmful or criminal actions against others. They are responsible for causing harm and are typically held accountability for their actions through legal process such as prosecution and punishment. So, survivors, victims, perpetrators, these these terms are often used in discussions surrounding issues such as abuse, violence, trauma, and crime, and understanding them helps in addressing and responding to the needs of those involved. So that's all. No, so next reporter, please.
Next slide. So the next topic is about human right. I think this is not the definition of human right. Can you scroll down po or next? Okay, so the next topic is about human rights. So we have here an article or law. It is according to the 1987 Philippine Constitution. It is the Republic Act number 10368. It stated that an act providing for reparation and recognition of victims of human rights violations during the Marcos regime, documentation of said violations, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. So when we say human rights are fundamental rights and freedoms that every individual is inherently entitled to, regardless of their race, nationality, gender, religion, or any other status. These rights are protected by laws and international conventions to ensure the dignity, equality, and well-being of every person. So, I have here the example of human rights. The first one is the right to life. When we say the right to life, every individual has the right to life and security of person. Itong rights na ito is ensure that no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of their life. I know that every one of us has the freedom and the right to express ourselves. Next is the freedom of speech. Everyone has the right to express their opinions without fear of censorship or retaliation. I believe that we have the freedom to share our mga opinions natin to one another. But kailangan it is factual or appropriate. Huwag kayong mag-share-share ng mga speech na hindi naman talaga siya relevant or hindi siya appropriate or hindi siya nakakatulong sa mga tao. Next is right to education. Right to education, everyone has the right to access education without discriminations, no? Whatever your race, gender, sex, or skin color, everyone has the right to education. Even though you are a person with a disability, you still have the right to education. Next is freedom of religion. Individuals have the right to practice their religion or belief without interference. I know that everyone or may mga ibang tao na discriminate ng bawat religion kesyo ganito, ganyan. But we have the freedom to choose or kung ano yung belief natin sa ating religion. Next is the right to health. Every person has the right to the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health. Everyone has the freedom para maging conservative when it comes to their health. Lastly is the freedom from torture. No one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment. So, walang sino man ang dapat manakit sa isang tao. Kailangan it is subjected or no one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel. So itong mga examples na to, no, it represents just a few of the many human rights that are recognized around the world. Ito yung mga common na examples na nangyayari sa ating mundo. So next, reporter, please.
Morning, everyone. Let's proceed to lesson 16. So, gender-based violence is a global public health emergency that has plagued girls and women throughout history. It defined as harmful acts directed at individual based on their gender. Gender-based violence is a constant threat for girls and women around the world, regardless of their age, race, or socioeconomic status. And they are at risk everywhere and anywhere at work, at school, and at home. This kind of target violence is rooted in systemic gender inequality and can be physical, sexual, economic, or psychological. It can look like a child undergoing female genital mutilation, a student assaulted in her dorm, or a stay-at-home mom restricted from accessing financial resources. Gender-based violence is a gender term used to capture any type of violence that is rooted in exploiting an equal power relationship between genders. This can include gender norms and role expectations specific to a society as well as situational power imbalances and inequities. So to give more example and talk about gender-based violence, may I call Miss Maid?
So, hi everyone. So, to add lang no, that central to understanding gender-based violence is the concept of consent, where yung mga individuals freely and willingly agree to engage in any form of interaction or activity. However, perpetrators of gender-based violence disregard consent, exploiting power dynamics to perpetrate acts of violence and maintain dominance over their victims. So this introduction no underscores the interconnectedness of power dynamics, the use of force, and the importance of consent in the context of gender-based violence. No? So the more na may ma-impluensya or may power ang isang tao no, the more na rin na they will take this as a advantages na dito na yung papasok they will force the victims mapa emotional so physical and social. So let's continue to the next reporter.
Hi everyone. So, use of force, violence. Force might be physical, emotional, social or economic in nature. It may also involve coercion or pressure. Force includes intimidation, threats, persecution, or other forms of psychological or social pressure. Example dito yung rape, pinipilit kang makipag-sex kahit ayaw mo naman. Then the violence consists of use of physical force or other means of coercion such as threat, inducement, or promise of a benefit to obtain something from weaker or one vulnerable person. Especially right now, not just adults get abused, but also the children. That will be all. Thank you.
The next discussion is all about um, informed consent. So, informed consent, in the context of gender-based violence, the concept of information consent relate to the idea that individuals have the right to make informed decisions about their bodies and relationship, especially in relation to issues of power dynamic and the use of force. These include the right to have full and accurate information about any situation that may impact their safety, autonomy, and consent. So dapat we have our right as an individual and information consent lalo na sa isang relasyon. So next slide. Like for example, the importance of information consent in relation to gender-based violence, which is informed consent in relationship. So in the healthy relationship, both individuals have the right to make decisions about physical intimacy and boundaries based on accurate and complete information. So this means that any use of force or coercion to obtain consent is not acceptable. So like for example, pressuring someone into sexual by using threats, sinasaktan siya, or manipulation is a violence of their right to informed consent. So that's all.
Quiet. Okay, good afternoon everyone again. My name is Dirksan Briones. So, the topic is cycle of violence. So, human under the Istanbul Convention acts of gender-based violence are emphasized as resulting in physical, sexual, psychological, economic harm or suffering to women, including threats of such acts or ability deprivation of liberty, whether occurring in public or in a private life. So the cycle of violence is a model developed by Dr. Leon Walker to explain patterns of behavior and abusive relationship. It consists of the snake phase, the tension building phase, the acute of explosion phase, and the honeymoon phase. The cycle can occur hundreds of times in an abusive relationship, with each cycle becoming more dangerous as the perpetrator may feel the need to increase the level of violence to maintain control. So first is tension building phase. So this is the first phase of the cycle of violence. The tension start to build over common domestic issue like money, children, or jobs. Verbal abuse begins, the victim becomes fearful and feel the need to pacify the abuser. The tension becomes too tense to bear and the relationship enters the second phase. So, second is acute or explosion phase. So, this is the peak of the violence cycle characterized by outbursts of aggressive abuse incident. The abuser's attempts to dominate the partner or the victim using domestic violence. In this stage, the abuser may believe that they will be held um, accountable for their behavior, leading to an increase in the violence to silence the victim. So last is honeymoon phase. So following the acute explosion of violence, there is often a honeymoon phase. The abuser becomes rumorful, often overall apologetic, and might promise the violence will never happen again. So the abuser may use gifts, promises of change, or other forms of manipulation to win over their victim's trust. However, once the abuser feels they have regained control, the cycle typically repeats itself. So the cycle of violence not only explains the partners of abusive behaviors, but also why it can be challenging for victims to escape such relationships. Understanding the cycle of violence is essential in raising awareness about domestic abuse and providing the necessary support to those affected. So it's important that not all violent relationships fit this cycle, and any form of violence, whether physical or emotional, is unacceptable. So that's our report. So thank you for
Wait lang
everyone.
po.
Okay, okay.
Wait lang po. I have addition lang po. Wag mo na i-skip. For addition lang po sa deprivation of liberty. When we say deprivation of liberty, no, it is the freedom of individuals or the protected rights of um, humanity or individuals. So for conclusion in our topic, we discuss about the political, legal perspective in gender and sexuality, the gender-based violence, the survivor, victim, and human rights. When we say gender-based violence, no, it is the human rights abuses or the most widespread human rights abuses. We also discuss the Human Rights Act, which is the 1036-8, and also the power use of force and consent. So that's all for our report, and thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone for your participation and cooperations of this report because I believe that you have helped us to surpass this report. Thank you again.